Hello and welcome to the Cellar Door Last Drinks. I'm George and I'm here in Healesville at Four Pillars Distillery, home of some of Australia's most loved gin. Let's head in and taste it. Cam, thank you so much for having me at Four Pillars Distillery.
George, good to have you on board.
Yeah, now you are the distiller, is that correct?
I am the distiller here, yes, and one of the founding partners of our little Four Pillars gin business.
What are the Four Pillars?
The Four Pillars started out, it's quite interesting actually. We started out with four ideas. The first pillar was these beautiful stills that we have at Four Pillars. They're made by Christian Carl. They are the best craft stills in the world. These days it's a 2-year waiting list to get one of these stills.
Is it really?
So they're the most sought after craft stills in the world. So that was
beautiful.
our first pillar. Botanicals, I think, we use a lot of traditional, a lot of exotic, but then a number of botanicals native to Australia, which I think are the most unique botanicals in the world. We've got incredibly clean water, particularly in the Yarra where we're right next to the catchment for Melbourne. And love was our fourth pillar, just a love of craft, a love of making things and putting time and effort into making gin.
And it's paid off in spades.
Well, I think so, yeah, we're going okay.
Yeah.
We're losing a lot less money than we thought we would.
It's you and two other guys who started this
That's right.
incredible distillery.
Yes.
How did it start? Were you all gin drinkers?
We were all gin drinkers. So Stu, Gregor and I had been mates for, back then, about 13, 14 years when we started thinking about this, now 20 odd years. We worked together in the wine industry. I had a background in production and moved more into sort of a commercial role and winery management, which I loved, but I was moving further and further away from production, and I quite like getting my hands dirty. Stu had left the wine industry to set up a very specialised PR communications business in Sydney called Liquid Ideas, specialising in, high-end booze, in food, in hospitality and in tourism. And then Matt Jones had run a huge creative agency in New York as their creative director called Jack Morton. He came back to Australia, he's Welsh. Married an Australian girl and just wanted to downsize and have less clients. And so Matt very much sets the language of our business, whether that's briefing designers or social media. So between the three of us, we've got quite distinct skill sets. The easiest way to put it is that I make gin, Stu makes noise and Matt makes sense. And that's sort of how our business has always worked. And we're really good mates and it's just very cohesive. And here we are 6 years later and we're still great mates and we're still growing and we're still having a huge amount of fun.
Now, you have recently won quite the fancy award, but you've got a back catalogue of awards as well.
We've been very fortunate. Pretty much all of these gins have won accolades around the world, which was really cool because one of the things we set out to do was to not make London Dry gin. And I love London Dry gin. We just didn't think the world needed another one. So we made more contemporary styles of gin. And the risk of doing that is, are you still gin? By entering these in competitions around the world, they've all won gold medals and they've all stood at the top of the tree as a really relevant style of gin. The most recent one, this one here, International Gin Producer of the Year at the IWSC, that's kind of the Oscars of the spirits industry. And that is an accolade that covers the entire distillery. So I think we make great gin, but we also have a really incredible team here. And I think we've, across the board, done a great job of that. So that is just a great recognition for that.
It's a beautiful award. And it's a beautiful distillery. How big is your team?
We have grown from 5 years ago, there were about 5 of us in the team. We're now on about 80. We're just about to hire our 80th person, which is really exciting. We want a sustainable growing industry in Australia. The time is right for premium spirits, and it's really important to us that it's safe and it's sustainable. So we walk through all of the things we've done to make sure that this is a really safe environment.
And finished off the tour with a little drink.
Might have a cheeky G&T at the end.
Maybe we should have a little G&T.
I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
the time is right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world.
Somewhere. Let's have a taste.
Yeah, done.
Excellent. Thanks, Cam.
Pleasure. Thanks, George.
Elton, you are the master taste leader.
I'm a guy that helps sell the dream.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll take that on board.
Yeah, excellent. So we've got some botanicals in front of us. We've got some gins.
Yep.
Talk to me.
What I'm going to do, I'll run you through our botanicals, talk about some of the flavours, what people use when making gin. We'll have a bit of a taste and, live the dream. So the most important botanical that goes into gin is juniper. So essentially that's where gin gets its big piney characteristics from. Some people use that to really accentuate that. Other people use it more of as a canvas. We use it as a canvas to help lift and carry our extra flavours. Now we want to sort of focus on some Australian botanicals.
Yeah.
So we've got Tasmanian pepperberry leaf and lemon myrtle. So again, contributing massive characteristics, especially the lemon myrtle in terms of a big citrus sort of boost. We love what that does, that big amount of citral in the lemon myrtle. Lastly, one which a lot of people don't talk about or don't know much about is called angelica root. So angelica root is a fixative or a binding agent. And it's used in perfume to lock the aromatic components into perfume. We use it to help lock and bind the aromatic components into the gin. So these core botanicals all go in to make the rare dry gin. So this is the first gin we made and we launched back in December of 2013. This is the first gin that we launched with. So this, sorry for the pun, is the spiritual foundation of Four Pillars. You got to get them in there. This gin really though has been the flagship for Four Pillars. It's been our #1 selling gin. It's enabled us to be on sale in 25 odd countries around the world. I've talked too much about it. Let's have a taste. I think this is much more fun. So with a gin like this, with all gins, I always tell people to take their time, let the gin rest on their tongue for a little bit and allow things just to open up and to reveal more flavours. So let's let it rest for a couple of seconds, swallow it down, then breathe out. The longer it rests, the softer it becomes. Always let that do that, because when you smell things, it triggers muscle memory. So you smell orange, you remember orange, you taste orange. So after about 10 seconds, swallow it down and then breathe out.
Okay.
For me, when I taste this gin, I get this beautiful dovetailing of both the star anise and the cassia bark. I think they really work together, they lock in. A little hint of lavender, and I get this beautiful citrus characteristics just coating your tongue.
I can definitely taste the lavender, which I don't think I've recognised in gin before, but obviously, yum.
We've got a little special one over here as well. Actually, I think we should taste this one too whilst you're here.
I agree.
So this is our dry island gin. So this is a gin that we made in collaboration with a distillery in Sweden called Hernö. So they are like the rock stars of craft gin. So we had this beautiful, I suppose, spiritual and mechanical connection. Sorry for the pun, I needed to get them out as well. But we had this connection through the stills and through making gin. So we wanted to create a Swedish meets Australian collaboration. So we use things like meadow sweet, which is...
Is that Australian or...?
No, that's one of the Swedish contributions. We've added things like roasted wattle seed, river mint, and this guy here is called strawberry gum. Have a smell of that, it's insane.
Wow. It's quintessentially Australian.
Absolutely,
sure.
Yeah. So this one here's a limited edition bottle. Once it's gone, we won't ever replicate it again. We'll go and make some new dreams come true through alcohol.
Great.
So have a little taste of this one as well.
slogan.
So for me, it's a lot lighter. It's still quite a high percentage of alcohol. It's sitting in 42.8. I love about this gin having some lighter botanicals. We've activated our stills so that we can allow some more of the oils to come through. So the citrus is certainly much more pronounced.
It tastes very Australian.
with a hint of Swedish influence.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the crowd favourite. This is our Bloody Shiraz.
Is this your biggest seller?
It would be very much up there, very much up there. So it's quite simple to make. We simply get our rare dry gin at high proof, so 93%, pour that over grapes. We let that gin permeate into those grapes for 2 months. After that 2-month resting period, we press the grapes, capture the combined liquid, put it into a bottle and sell it to the general public. So this is our 2019 vintage. It's just absolutely banging. You get beautiful sort of cherry and blackcurrant flavours coming through because the grape juice doesn't ferment. So let's have a taste.
Let's.
I might even join you on this one too.
Me.
Here's cheers.
Here's cheers to you.
So you certainly get some sweetness coming through without it being an overt sweetness. Cherry, blackcurrant flavours.
Yeah, it's that savoury cherry sweetness.
It's lovely.
I feel like we should probably get ourselves a Negroni.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for running me through
Thank
all
you
of
for
these
having me.
delicious
That's
gins.
awesome. One more for cheers.
One more for cheers, go on.
Let's do it.
What a great ambassador.
Wow. When it comes to alcohol, it's not too hard. I'm not selling tax reform. Cheers.
Excellent.